Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA. Let's talk about what is happening to NVIDIA and what we can expect moving into a pretty eventful week. We have potential rate cuts this week. We have triple witching as well. So could be a volatile, potentially eventful week. But all that being said and done, let's jump into it. If you enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, again, I do have a YouTube membership where I share all my thoughts, post updates with my members every day as the market is trading. For instance, this morning, I shared with my members how Nvidia, as the market opened, was falling right into 174 region support. This is where it's time for bulls to wake up and begin bidding the stock. The stock, you can see, was falling right pretty much at the low of the day almost, right into those exponential moving averages. And of course, I'm sure we know how that went, right? So pretty well, right? And again, I share these thoughts with members, right? So again, if you'd like to have that, again, the link is below for the YouTube membership. We'd love to have you there. All it is just $3 a month for all my Tesla updates, including broader market updates. $5 gives you everything I just mentioned, plus NVIDIA updates. $7 a month USD gives you all that, plus non-Tesla, non-NVIDIA updates to other stocks that I see opportunities potentially, setting up in the markets. So again, we'd love to have you there, and it gives you access to the private Discord. Anyway, yeah, love to have you there, guys. Definitely check it out. But jumping into NVIDIA, pretty much flat on the day, actually, down 0.04%, not a whole lot. But, it's starting to set up something a little bit more productive here, to say the least, right? It's starting to set up a bit of a bull flaggy setup, which is good, right into the exponential moving averages off of this nice move to the upside. So there is potential, right? The bulls absolutely have potential, right? If they can break 2 days high, that's a pretty good step in the right direction, right? So there is some bullish potential setting up, but the overall levels to really watch for in terms of a break up or down, it remains to be the same, right? About today's low, 174 almost, right? I mentioned that level, EMAs are there, a lot of support. So far we found it, which is good. But losing that level would be a concern. Absolutely, right? That would start giving further weakness. On the flip side, even breaking 2 days high will be already a pretty good sign in my opinion, because that starts potentially playing out this bull flag, which could be a good sign for things to come. But I would really still want to see a break above the green Fibonacci's, pretty much 181 at least. If the bulls can break above 181, and especially all-time highs around 184, very bullish, right? That is absolutely very, very bullish. And this bull flag that is setting up here has potential to reignite some bullish momentum here, right? So let's continue monitoring that. And I do lean bullish slightly, actually. Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I can't ignore the structure and the Fibonacci's, right? Like I just mentioned, that needs to break. But I also can't ignore that this does look like a pretty nice bull flag. And I'm actually bullish on AMD. I actually think AMD is going to be heading higher in the days to come, right? You can kind of see my rough outline. This is what I told my members roughly back when I was retesting this wedge breakouts. I do actually lean bullish on AMD. And I assume if AMD is going to be bullish, then there's a good chance NVIDIA is probably going to be at least somewhat bullish, right? So there is potential. I'm not going to lie. There absolutely is bullish potential here. Now, this week is going to be a bit of a volatile week, like I mentioned. So, take things with a bit of a grain of salt because, at the end of the day, who really knows, right? Especially with a week like this week. Again, expiration, triple witching, potential cuts, how the market's going to react to it. There's a lot of, unknown, I guess you can say here this week, especially this week. But let's see how it goes, right? Let's see how it goes. So I do like the setup. I do think it actually has potential, but I definitely really want to see at least 2 days high and especially 181 broken. That is going to be something absolutely worth watching moving forward. So let's continue watching, guys. Let's see how it's actually going off, how it's going off. I was reading something on my other monitor, how it actually plays out. The weekly, right? Looking a little bit more productive, right? If we don't get this breakout, if we don't get past 181, there is still potential that this is just nothing more than a lower high. It is absolutely worth still mentioning. That is still a very real possibility, which is why at the very least, I need those green Fibonacci's taken out, especially this high up here taken out to reduce the potential that this is just another lower high, right? Because if we break that high, that's very bullish. Or if we get a stronger retracement down here, which could be potentially concerning, but if that were to happen, that would just be potentially a first higher low, I should say, which then could be the fuel, if you will, to make that fresh higher high. So there's a lot of structure issues that still exist, but it can absolutely break into the bullish favor. So it's very important to just really see how this potential bull flag plays out, how these two levels up here and below hold and or break. And moving from that, we can get a better idea as to what we can expect next, at least in my opinion. So, but I can't fully deny this potential bullish situation setting up on the stock as well, with a potential bearish situation as well. It's very, very mixed here. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very mixed. So let's continue monitoring it. Let's see how it actually plays out. But the main levels to watch for, right? The main structure, I guess, if you will, to look for on NVIDIA to really determine what's next. And that's kind of be the main thing I'm watching for, because again, if we do reject from here, if we do have issues with these green fibs and we never really break past them, we absolutely could just get another lower low and then actually head down towards my main weekly target, down closer to the retest of previous all-time highs at 150. That still becomes a very real target, right? So if the bulls really want to avoid a deeper correction, they need to really start showing strength, and they're starting to, right? That's why I said there is potential here now, right? The bulls they're trying. They're absolutely trying to do something here. So I can't fully disregard that, right? There is bullish potential, absolutely. But a little more work is unfortunately needed to really get this thing going, which let's see if they can do that, right? But the levels to watch for, and you know what to roughly look out for moving forward. In terms of the broader market, the cues are strong. The market's strong. Now it's a little bit extended now, right? We had a pretty good day today. So, we're getting a little bit distant, in my opinion, from the 9 exponential moving average. Whenever the market gets too distant, it usually comes back in. For instance, you can see this candle, how distant it was, and then we came back into it. Came back up, pretty distant, came back into it. Came up pretty distant, came back into it. Came up here, pretty distant, once again, pretty distant, came back into it. Same idea, right? We're pretty distant. So I wouldn't be surprised if the market gets a bit of a shakeout to the downside, maybe after Wednesday's rate cut decision. Absolutely a possibility. But as long as the market and as long as the cues essentially hold, in my opinion, previous all-time highs around the low 580s, which is roughly where that 9 EMA is also sitting, it could just be nothing more than a retest and then we go higher. That's the bullish option. The bearish option is, well, we actually break below this and we actually go lower, right? So in my opinion, watch for the 9 EMA, especially the 21 EMA. And previous all-time highs retest. Let's see how we hold above that, right? Because if we start going below that, wouldn't be the most ideal scenario, right? It could signal some potential short-term weakness setting in. So wouldn't be something that the bulls, in my opinion, want to see. It would complicate things a little bit. Let's just say that. So that's kind of how I see moving forward on the broader market as well, and on Nvidia, right? So let's see, guys. Let's see what happens into this potentially very volatile week. But again, with stocks like Amazon setting up, in my opinion, pretty nicely. This is a bit of a freebie for you guys here. I shared this with members already on this candle down here on Friday. Amazon's setting up insanely good. I have to say, this is looking like one of the best Max 7 setups, in my opinion. Absolutely gorgeous looking rising triangle setup. I'm already in the stock, and I'm probably going to add more if I see more weakness. I think Amazon's one of the better setups in the market, at least from the Max 7s, in my opinion, right now. Nvidia and AMD are pretty decent setups as well, I actually think. Apple's looking so-so. Google's already just so far ahead that there's nothing even, there's no setup. If you're in, you're in. If you're not, it sucks. Amazon or Microsoft, actually nice breakout. You can see here, nice breakout of the trend line, looking pretty bullish here. Meta looking okay, not the best, not the worst. It's looking okay. And then, oh my God, Netflix might be the worst looking one right now, to be completely honest. It really depends on how this holds. This could be a bullish engulfing, but it's just kind of not as well. Arguably the worst one, actually. But nonetheless, yeah. Anyways, that's a very quick, I guess, market summary. There you go. Hey, fuck it, whatever. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Hope this video was useful. Hope you guys found it helpful and all that good stuff. And options flow very quickly before I forget. Almost forgot about that. Bulls are in control. Bears are, they're trying. They're definitely trying. They're not out of the woodwork yet. You can see a lot of bears come in right around here, around noon. But overall, other than that one kind of, bearish attack, if you will, the bulls are still more or less in control. There's still more bulls than bears for sure. So let's continue monitoring, guys. Let's see how this goes moving forward. Thanks for watching. Peace.